If your dog has allergies and it's driving you crazy, this video is going to be for you. Over the past few years, me and my team have helped thousands of dogs either in person or online through our consultations. And one of the most common problems we solve is allergies in dogs. And so in this video, I'm going to give you some of the advice we give people in our consultations, and advice that will probably save you thousands of dollars. Now, the first piece of advice and the first thing you might not be doing is you might not be reading the ingredients for everything you give your dog. And this is extremely important because the allergen, the pathogen that your dog is reactive to, is potentially allergic to, might already be in the food you are giving them. And so the first thing you need to do is single out what potential allergens your dog might be consuming. So what I want you to do is I want you to read the back of the bag of dog food and every single treat you give your dog. And from there, we are going to start eliminating potential pathogens. The most common allergens tend to be wheat, beef, chicken. We then have rice, barley, maize, meat and animal derivatives, sugar or sugar derivatives. If you see on the back of your dog's food something like natural flavors or something unspecific, such as meat and animal derivatives or animal fats, we will not know which particular protein we are giving our dog. And so in order for us to single out the proteins we are giving our dogs, we must change course. If you think about what's available, right? Chicken, beef, wheat gluten, rice, those tend to be the most common ingredients that our dogs might be exposed to whenever it comes to their food. So diverting from those and finding an alternative source of protein will be absolutely beneficial. When it comes to novel protein foods, I want you to think outside the box. We can have kangaroo, goat, sardines, quail. We can have something that's a bit out there, ostrich for example. So the best thing you can do is go to your local pet shop and they will be able to give you a bit more rare when it comes to a protein source for our dog. The second most common mistake we see people is that they do not take treats into account. Once they put their dogs onto a novel protein, let's say we are giving our dog now a commercial food and we single out duck or ostrich and we now give our dog an ostrich based food that is working really well for our dog. What a lot of people do then, they give their dogs too many treats to the point where they cannot single out what's causing the flare-up or what might be causing the new allergy or the new recurring itchiness. So the best thing you can do is to for now add one protein at a time. So if we give our dog an ostrich-based food, we now can give our dog ostrich-based treats and maybe kangaroo, and maybe later down the line we can add quail or sardine. But we are going to do this very, very slowly and very, very carefully. What I don't want you to do is fix the food and then get so many treats, different manufacturers, different ingredients, and then you do not know what's causing the flare-up or what's causing the allergy, and you have to go back to the vet again and again and again. By the way, if you are interested in nutrition, I highly recommend you download for free How to Feed Your Dog Better, the 100 Commandments of Dog Health. You can download your free copy below. The next thing we see all the time is that other people are feeding their dog. So what you need to do is ask yourself, who else is feeding my dog? Do I have to have the conversation with my family? Do I have to have the conversation with Nana or with the kids or with my husband or wife or whoever it might be? And what we want to do is say, hey, we have a problem with our dog and please do not feed the dog. Because if they feed the dog something they shouldn't be eating, guess what? You are going to be stuck again with a problem without knowing what's causing the flare-up or what's causing the allergy. And ditto, it goes for dog walkers. If your dog has a dog walker or doggy daycare, for example, most of these people will give dogs treats every single day because they are lovely and they are happy-go-lucky people and they just want to please you and your dog. And so they will be giving every single dog a treat or two or maybe more. So what I want you to do is have the conversation with the dog walker or dog nursery or whatever the case might be and say, hey, we have a problem with our dog. Please do not feed them any treats. Or if you are going to feed them any treats, please give them these. And what you can do is give them some treats that are safe for your dog to eat. That way, you'll be able to have traceability, which is the most important thing about this whole thing. The next thing people do wrong is they rely on veterinary advice. And do not get me wrong, this is not about vet bashing. But if you look at veterinary prescription diets, you will see that the most common allergens are already in the food they recommend. So veterinary prescription diets, for example, are very cereal heavy, they're very wheat heavy, they contain something called animal fats or natural flavors or poultry meals, and what these ingredients are, they are very unspecific. And if you are trying to single out the amount of ingredients you give your dog by you giving your dog poultry meal or poultry byproduct meal or animal fats or natural flavors, we will not know specifically what we are giving our dog. Furthermore, things like rice or wheat gluten or corn, as we discussed, tend to be the most common allergens we encounter every single day. And so the best thing for you to do is avoid those veterinary prescription diets. We do not stock them. We in our branches do not sell them. We don't recommend them. And if they work for you, or if you are happy giving them, or your vet has given them and you are happy and you want to follow their advice, then more power to you. I don't have anything against them. However, I would not give my dog a veterinary prescription diet to save my life. Another very common thing people do not examine is some of the treatments that vets give their dogs to suppress allergies. And a lot of these treatments contain beef flavor or chicken flavor. So it is very, very important that you again read everything you give your dog. I'm not going to name any treatments, but the most common treatments or the most common tablets for allergies in the UK and US sometimes contain either natural flavors, beef or chicken, and those are once again very unspecific in the form of natural flavors or beef or chicken, which tend to be the most common allergies or allergens. So if you are trying to single out those, by you giving these tablets or by you giving these treatments, you will be further potentially exacerbating the problem. Now, do not get me wrong. If your dog has a chicken allergy, your dog will have a minimal intolerance or tolerance to the chicken. So maybe a 1% is okay in chicken, but maybe a 5% will set them off. This is a bit like with babies. There is always going to be a range, so maybe those tablets are going to be okay, and maybe some of the treats, some of the foods that you give your dog, maybe some of those will contain chicken as a binder, as an animal fat, for example, because it's the most prevalent, the most common, and the cheapest to use. And so if your dog is okay on a tiny bit of chicken or a tiny bit of beef or whatever the case might be, well, guess what? Your dog is going to be okay on the tablets or whatever. But if we are trying to eliminate, what we want to do is traceability. What we want to do is narrow down the amount of possibilities we are giving our dog. Another very common mistake or very common problem is that they do not associate dermatitis or the allergies, which is the inflammation of the skin, with their gut, with your dog's gut. Whenever your dog has a reaction, that reaction in the dermis, in the skin, doesn't start in the skin. It normally starts in the gut. So what sources of fiber, what sources of probiotics are we providing our dog with? Do we have a natural sort of probiotic or prebiotic in our dog's food that we can give them every single day or every other day? What sources of fiber, what good support are we giving our dogs? What do we like? We like natural things. We like natural psyllium husk, for example. We like slippery elm. We like a bit of pumpkin puree. We can have chia seeds in our dog's diet. We can have anything with fur on, rabbit ears, for example. Those are a source of insoluble fiber. We can have all sorts of things to look after our dog's gut. And by us looking after our dog's gut, we'll be able to strengthen it and we'll be able to reinforce the whole immune system. You cannot treat allergies and rashes and dermatitis and all these things, atopic dermatitis, as something in isolation. Everything is connected. What the dog eats, what the dog is exposed to, the environment, the weather, the changing in furniture and furnishings, if you have gone on holiday or whatever, all these things might play a part in your dog's allergies and dermatitis. So do not be so narrowed down that you can't decide what's working and what's not working. It could be a myriad of different things. In any case, you can download our free guides below. We have so many free nutrition resources that will definitely help your dog. And if you are after our allergies template and our allergies guide for dogs, you can download it as well down in the description. Let me know what you think, like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.